All right, welcome back to DZRJ810AM. This is Bjorn Martinov, your host for today. Vicky Martinov will be stepping in any moment now. I suspect she's hiding in the bathroom, but to be arriving just this very moment. Hopefully she'll be closing the door soon. And with me today, a very special guest who I'm very excited to have on this show is Dr. Sharon Rebong. She's practicing medicine in Makati City, Philippines. By the way, welcome world. I know many countries are listening in. And by the way, we're recording this on my iPhone, right? And you can also watch our show on Ustream at www.ustream.tv/channel/DZRJ810AM. So Vicky, maybe you can sit over there so we can capture you also on the camera. So welcome, Dr. Sharon. Is this your first time on a radio show?
Not really, but it was a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Long time ago.
Long time ago.
So thank you for inviting me.
Well, you're welcome, and it's a pleasure having you. Why don't you give us a little bit of a background of who you are, what did you study, where did you grow up, so for our listeners to get an idea about who you are, besides being gorgeous, of course.
Well, I'm Dr. Sharon Rebong,
Okay.
and I'm from Laguna.
From Laguna.
My father is from Laguna, and we're living there.
Nice.
And I took up my medical degree in Manila Central University, where I also took my specialization in family medicine.
In family medicine.
Yeah.
Nice. So that's how you got started.
That's how I got started.
What inspired you about that in the beginning?
Well, as a young girl, I wanted to be a missionary.
A missionary.
Yeah, a missionary nurse.
Wow.
But I turned out to be a doctor.
Uh-huh.
And I love helping people get well.
Okay.
So that's how it started.
Nice. So why family medicine in the beginning?
Well, I didn't see myself being in the hospital.
Okay.
Okay, and I wanted to be in the preventive, more on the preventive side.
Okay.
So I wanted to catch people early.
Before they got sick.
Before they get sick.
Nice.
And then give them advice on how they can start improving their life to become healthier as a family and as an individual.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And is that what eventually led you to towards more natural medicine, or what was the evolution of that?
What led me more into this type of practice that I'm in now is because of my personal search for my own health.
Nice.
Which I couldn't really find when I got sick. When I was in purely looking at the conventional approach.
Yes.
So I was introduced providentially by my father's friend to a doctor who is practicing alternative medicine, and that's how my mind got opened. That there is such a thing as practice of healing illnesses, not necessarily from use of drugs, but there is another aspect that will utilize other approaches. So whether that's the use of nutritionals, detoxification, and use of other alternatives to the treatment of illnesses.
Very nice. And you had some successes for yourself on some of your own challenges?
Yes. In my own, personally, I went through a series of detoxification on my own.
Okay.
Okay, and then I didn't want to subject myself to any other treatment. It took a while, but I would say that at this time, my particular problem, especially in my kidney, I have an autoimmune problem.
Wow.
And
That sounds serious. I'm not a doctor, but it
yeah,
sounds serious.
but after more than 15 years, it has reversed. So
Amazing.
Wow.
it hasn't deteriorated like other autoimmune problems. So it's very important that you address the main problem. And the good thing is, when you treat one concern, it also affects your overall health. So that's why
Sometimes there's other issues that also come in, maybe secondary.
there are also other issues that you may not know you're suffering from. No? But when you start cleaning your system, you start improving your lifestyle, then you are also hitting the other concerns in your body. So say if there is a hormonal imbalance, or there's infection elsewhere in the body, or you have poor digestion, that also is being addressed as you go through the treatment process.
Nice. So it sounds like there's many approaches available.
Yes, actually there are many approaches available when you go for treatment.
And so that's how you discovered that there was another way of dealing with medical issues, right? How would you call it? Maybe a more natural way, a more gentle way, or a non-chemical way? There's so many ways people express that.
Yeah. Well, in our group we call it integrative practice.
Integrative, okay.
Yes. Natural integrative process.
What does that word integrative mean for our listeners?
Well, when we say integrative, is we integrate the different principles of healing, say homeopathy, natural treatment, the use of the principles from the traditional Chinese medicine, okay, and then also integrating what is conventionally available that is really necessary for the patient to take. So we integrate all of that.
So some doctors, they really choose one over the other, but it sounds like you're open to all of them in a way, right? Because each one has its place.
Yes, actually.
Yeah, no. Very good. It almost seems like it's a lost art, the natural way of healing, no? It's not so much that it's being taught anymore at universities, from what I understand.
Yes, because our form of education, medical education, is Western. And
the official form.
Yes, the official form.
Right.
And we are not yet very much into looking into other ways of healing, or tapping for example, the use of supplementation to address deficiencies. Because I have heard one speaker who's been in this practice for a long time that she said, we don't get sick because we are deficient of certain drugs. No. We are sick because we have certain deficiencies in, for example, minerals or vitamins or other nutrients that the body is depleted of.
Oh, so that's part of the nutritional part of the equation.
Yes, that's a nutritional part.
Right, and from what I understand is that many foods, because the soil has been over-harvested in so many ways, and some of the foods that we're relying on to supply us with these minerals no longer have those minerals.
Yes, that's true.
So that's a real issue.
Yes, so from the time that it's from the agricultural processing up to the time that it's prepared and ready on the table, so much processing has been done that contributes to the depletion of nutrients, as well as addition of some harmful
like pesticides,
chemicals,
maybe, right?
like pesticides.
Yeah, even if we avoid pesticides, it may still not be ideal nutrition, right? So just because it doesn't have pesticide doesn't mean it has all the minerals that it should be having. No?
Yes.
I have a question for Sharon.
Yeah.
For the listeners, this is Vicky Martinoff. I want to say hello to everybody, and really wonderful that you know, the rain hasn't started yet, but for everybody, you know, who's listening right now, you better, you know, also be ready for whatever is possible, right?
Yeah, there's supposed to be a big rainstorm coming in, no?
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So, Dr. Sharon, I'm very curious. You did mention that majority has been 15 years, and that, you know, what you have noticed is that it's not, you know, the way normally in other people deteriorated, but for you, it didn't even go there, right?
Yeah.
I'm very curious to also hear from the point of view also of a doctor and also somebody who journeyed through this, you know, this experience of making sure that you stay healthy. What is your context now of a healthy person?
Okay, so I would say that all of us are always being challenged, health-wise, because the way we our living condition right now is such that you cannot really be perfectly free from toxins from the environment, nutritional deficiencies because of the way we eat. We eat fast foods, we cannot prepare our own food, okay, and we don't know, we cannot really be completely sure where they are coming from. So nutrition wise and clean freeness from toxin wise, we don't really
know for
so
sure, right?
I would say that a healthy person is someone who is taking care of how he eats, okay, sleeps well, because that's very important. Good sleep, 7 to 8 hours of sleep is very good for the body to regenerate itself.
Yes.
And even the timing when you go to sleep makes a difference.
And even the timing when you go to sleep is very important.
Like before 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock? What is the best time?
Yeah, before 10 o'clock.
Before 10 o'clock.
And then going down up to 4, because during those times there are specific organs that are regenerating themselves.
So there's a schedule for each organ.
Yes,
so
according to Chinese principle of health, there is healing or regeneration of those organs during those times.
And that happens during sleep. And when
it happens during sleep.
And when we're not sleeping, that doesn't happen.
Yes.
Because the body's busy staying awake, right? So it doesn't have energy to spend on healing and regenerating.
Yeah, so a healthy person is someone who doesn't have not only serious illnesses, but is free from, you know, even frequent infections or frequent headaches.
Yes.
Who doesn't have bowel problems, you know, even people with constipation, we can consider may not be really healthy, because our gut is the catcher of what is coming in from our external environment. So we have to always make sure that it's clean. That's where our immune system is very, very active. 70% of our immune system is guarding that area. So we have to have a we have to have a healthy gut.
So is that sort of the foundation of everything else, or is there something else that's the foundation in terms of physical?
Well, that's one.
Okay.
Yes, we have to. That's very important. And some specialists consider it as the very important organ to deal with.
The gut.
The gut.
Or the intestines.
The intestine.
Okay. Very nice, very nice. And what are the different issues that could happen in the intestine that could prevent normal health?
Okay, so if you have, for example, constipation.
Okay, so it's being plugged up and it doesn't flow as freely.
Yes, and food stays there for a longer time, including the toxins. It can induce injury in the tissue, locally in the gut, and cause conditions like inflammations there, and then leading to may lead to some forms of colitis and even cancer.
Is colitis inflammation?
Yes, it's an inflammation in the gut, and even cause cancer in the long run.
Wow.
Yes. Other problems may be malabsorptions malabsorptions of the nutrients in the smaller intestine. So in that way you have problem improving your health, because even if you eat healthy and it's plugged up, then it's not absorbing. Okay. Other issues in the gut may also be digestive issues. Okay. If you have difficulty in digesting food, it can allow big molecules of proteins to be absorbed in the body, which will appear as foreign bodies, and the body will react to it and cause different conditions, different symptoms like joint pains, okay, and other conditions, and other headaches, okay, and other problems, or even skin problems that you cannot figure out what's causing them.
That's really very interesting, Dr. Sharon. You know, the word that came to my mind is flow. It's like, you know, and it's not very different from what's happening right now, like in our weather condition. You know, everybody's afraid about this rain shower. It probably would appear like a flood.
Yeah, yet the bishop's been praying for water, right? Because we haven't had enough rain this whole year, right?
And from what I'm hearing from you, Dr. Sharon, it's almost like that. You know, like each individual, you know, experiencing their body, it's almost like also experiencing a flood. You know, like for example, food, right? Like it's not like there's no food everywhere. It's more like a flooding of food, and yet people stay undernourished.
Correct.
Because the body cannot absorb it. Yes.
That's one.
That's
Yeah.
one.
Or as Dr. Sharon mentioned, you gotta take care of what you're eating. It's like people don't even mind anymore, you know, what they're eating. And you did see that 70% of the immune system is guarding the gut. And then if you ask somebody, you know, what's your gut feel about this food? They go like, I have no clue. I just put it in my mouth.
You know, this reminds me actually. I think a healthy gut. I think you have to go to the bathroom 3 times a day or after every meal. Is that correct?
Yeah, more often.
Yeah, more often, right? And one time I was living in California before, and I took my friend from Germany to this Mexican restaurant, and he was complaining, "Oh, I cannot eat Mexican food because I always have to go to the bathroom right away." You know, so thinking about it now, I think that was a good thing for him, right? That the body wanted to flush things out. That was actually a sign of health, and he was confusing it, thinking that it was bad.
Yeah, so it's good for a person to have more frequent bowel movements, for as long as it's not a frequent bowel movement that is due to illnesses, say hyperthyroidism or infection. But if there's none of those things, it's good to frequently, even 3 times a day would be fine.
Yeah, I've heard as much as after every meal, so if you have smaller meals like merienda or snack, right?
Especially if you have good fiber, amount of fiber in your diet, that will be helpful in stimulating.
So could we say that we can poop ourselves on the way to health? You could poop yourself to the way of health. How do you say it?
That's why from time to time, there are really patients who have difficulty since they were young kids they have lazy bowels. And so for those things, helping them out, if we have tried more fiber, more fluid, say 1.5 liters a day of fluid and lots of fiber, and being active physically to stimulate the gut. If that doesn't work, then we need to give some help to stimulate the bowel or to detoxify it. So you can use senna concentrates.
What's that?
It's a preparation. It's a natural preparation from senna.
It's like a plant.
It's a plant that helps. And there are several preparations of that. So it helps stimulate the bowels to move. Okay. So that's one. We also can do, the patient can also do colon cleansing or colon hydrotherapy.
Yeah, so that's where you get the whole thing just washed out.
Yes,
Way,
you wash
right?
it out, yes.
And I hear with cancer patients that happens like once a week or even more often. Right?
Yes,
So
that's,
there's clinics that can do that.
yes, there are clinics that can do that. They have the facility to do that.
And
there is also, the patient can also do his own cleansing or enema
Mhm.
at home, given the instructions on how to do it.
Yeah, but most people don't have that equipment at home, right?
Yes, they have to
Most times only the small, if any at all, they only have the small enema bags, right?
Yes,
Rather than
yes.
the huge ones that the hospitals have. No?
Yes.
And even with the huge ones, many times you need several, and then you need, of course, the clean water, so you
Yes.
don't inject something fresh into your system that shouldn't be there in the first place. No?
Yeah, and it should be done by clinics where they are really trained in doing that
Mm-hmm.
to avoid problems.
Does your
Because it's
clinic-
actually a very simple procedure, but you have to know what you're doing, how much water you put in, and the gadgets that are available there, so that you can guide the patient.
Mm. I went through a procedure like that once when I had a colonoscopy. And then of course they took the pictures and the video as they went inside. No? Very interesting. And some people, they actually have a sort of on their colon, inside their colon, they have a sort of a plaque buildup that also slows down absorption of the nutrients, right?
Yes.
So and then they become toxic
Yes.
after so many years just sitting in there, which makes it actually probably a good thing to flush it all out. And sometimes
Yes.
I think men become this big tummy, right, from some of these issues. So,
Yes.
yeah.
And there are also other preparations which combines different herbs
Mm.
to really stimulate the gut.
So herbal is one approach. How about probiotics?
Probiotics is not for colon cleansing, but for nourishing the gut. No? Most of the time, especially our upper intestinal tract, are not as healthy because of the type of food that we eat, because some of us may be taking medicines for a long time, and they reduce the population of the good bacteria. So
like antibiotics.
Antibiotics and medicines for the heart, medicine and other forms of.
So should one after we have like something serious and we have to take some antibiotics, should as a patient maybe be proactive and then ask for some probiotics to be reintroduced into my system?
Yes, that will be very helpful to help the gut recover faster. So after a series of antibiotic treatment, the patient or the person may go for probiotic intake, and it should be taken on an empty stomach. I suggest, it's better to be taken on an empty
Can
stomach.
it be followed by food or just really
Not with food.
Not with food.
Yeah, so that it can go down and be dissolved and repopulate itself, and not be digested too easily by the digestive enzymes that come in when we eat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you take it just with water.
You take it with water. You can take it when you wake up. You take it when at bedtime. Okay. If you have serious issues, you can actually take it more often, and may increase the dose more often.
Dr. Sharon, what's your thought with regards to sources of probiotics like kefir and kombucha? What's your thought?
Buko juice.
I haven't really personally used those things, but a lot of patients have been using that, and some of the patients report to me that they find improvement
Oh wow.
when they take that.
Because every time I would see a kombucha, I would really look suspiciously at it, like talk to it, like I know you're alive, you know, help me.
What is kombucha? What is that?
Yeah,
It's like it looks like tea,
Okay.
but tastes like vinegar.
Really?
And when you take it in, it tastes like taking vinegar, but you know that it's alive with probiotics.
yeah, like the yogurt.
Yeah, the yogurt. Like,
Yes, they
if
have,
it's alive, right? A live culture yogurt.
Yes, and the ones without mixtures of fruit meat.
Oh, so it has to be plain yogurt.
Plain
Okay.
yogurt.
Oh, I love my
Oh.
yogurt with fruits.
So
Yeah.
you mix it fresh.
Oh, okay.
Don't.
Yeah, because I learned naturally eating yogurt from India, and initially I was like, this is too sour for me. But when they mixed with papaya, I was like, what is
Tastes
the best
good.
tasting thing I've ever tasted? You know, I grew up only with fried fish and fried shrimp and my favorite tuyo. But you know, after tasting that, it became the switch from my favorite staple Filipino breakfast.
Mm.
Naturally, just embrace this Indian
Yeah, it
breakfast.
tastes good.
How about for you, Beer? What's your favorite breakfast?
You know, I don't know if I still have a favorite breakfast. It's since I'm a diabetic, food used to be like my friend, but now it's become my enemy. So I'm kind of like deciding, do I go for the one that supports my health, or do I go for the one that supports my taste buds, right? So more and more, I'm actually going towards drinking fresh vegetable juices in the morning, like cucumber, maybe some other stuff mixed in, garlic.
Yeah, that's good because
Yeah.
it's low in calorie.
Yeah, and maybe
Especially-
carrots or apple just to give it some flavor.
Yeah.
And then I just give it some variety, because if you have the same thing every day, it becomes kind of tiresome. Because the body also craves for a variety of things. No?
I'm very
That's
curious,
right.
Dr. Sharon, to hear. You did mention that you need to have like a bulk or fiber when you eat. Like, I wonder how your breakfast looks like. Are you
I'm trying different types of meals right now. Because I'm trying to do away with rice at the moment.
Oh, okay.
So my breakfast would be I'd saute strips of say chicken with
We
vegetables.
probably just lost 1,000 listeners when we said trying to put away with rice. Anyways, go ahead.
No, just for me. If you're eating rice, you can take. Of course, it's advisable for you to go for the unpolished rice.
Mm.
Okay, so
The
so
red
that you-
rice and the brown rice.
Yes, because it has the fibers in it.
Mhm.
It still has some proteins at its
Mhm.
tip. It has the necessary fat, and it has the B vitamin still,
Which the polished white
which
rice
the
doesn't
polished
have.
rice don't have. And even with other carbs like wheat. So I've heard from one patient recently that
So you're also learning from your patients.
Yes,
It's
yes.
just great. No? It's the same for me and my clients. We learn from each other.
yes.
Yeah.
My patient mentioned that it's hard for her to find a unbleached wheat
Flour.
flour here.
Oh, yeah.
So
And many of them are GMO on top of that.
yeah, so we need to have more of those healthier forms of
Mm.
carbs.
So you can get that from like stores like Healthy Options, but
Yes.
it's a little bit more expensive, right? Probably because it's smaller production runs.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. How about black rice versus red rice versus brown rice? What can you say about that, if anything?
I have not really compared the difference between those different
Mhm.
rice, but basically the unpolished rice have more nutrients,
Okay.
more iron, more minerals, and the
Mhm.
ones that I've mentioned earlier.
Okay.
And going back to
Yeah, I really wanted
the-
to hear more.
to the breakfast, thing. So my breakfast now, my carbs is root crops.
Oh,
I-
wow.
I cook it together with what I'm sauteing. So I mix it with the vegetables. I chop it in small pieces, or sometimes I boil it
Mm.
and then eat it together with whatever.
Is it like sweet potato?
Sweet potato.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other root crops?
You know
Ginger
kamoting kahoy? What
Yes,
is it?
yes. Cassava.
Cassava, yes. Those are the two
Mhm.
things that I'm replacing my.
Do you
with.
would you be somebody who would really go to like organic markets that only happens like once in a week just to get your vegetables, or
I try my best to get organic products, but it's honestly difficult.
Mm.
Yeah, so it has to be near the place where I'm staying. So if there's an organic store there, I buy from there. And if the supply is not available, then I go for the least harmful vegetable.
It's also got to be practical on some level.
Yes,
right?
and you have to, with that in mind, you have to know how to clean your veggies. So you have to clean it so that the water soluble and fat soluble chemicals, pesticides are removed.
I think that's the difficult because most people probably just rinse off their veggies with water, but the pesticides often they don't get rinsed off with just plain water.
Yes, so you have to use a preparation that's available in the groceries, the fruit and vegetable rinse, or you can soak it in mixture of water, baking soda, salt, vinegar, and some also use virgin coconut oil.
I'm so glad to hear that everything I'm putting in the water is exactly that.
And the vegetable stays longer, fresher after cleaning it.
And some even use
Doesn't get
alkaline
soiled.
water to clean because fat basically or oils, they're acid, right? And so the alkaline water can actually dissolve that and remove it. But I think sometimes it also leaves some other things behind. As I've seen kind of like a white residue. Once you remove the wax from an apple, let's say, sometimes there's some white residue, which I don't know what it is. So it's like, what is this stuff?
Dr. Sharon, can you share more about water? Because very recently we also had a guest here in our show, and she introduced us to this particular type of water, and so we tried it for in our house, and for the very first time I really experienced my body really telling me that, hey, where is the water? I'm parched. But before that, I'm almost in my 40s, but I've never experienced that, that my body actually telling me that, it's been 4 hours, I haven't drank a single drop of water. Where's my water? Like really parched and dry, everything is dry. But
and my wife actually started looking younger.
But if I went into 2 weeks again without a particular source of water, it's back to its normal, mode again. I don't feel thirsty or anything like that. What's your thought about that? Because I'm sure not everybody have access to water like that, right?
I can't get water,
Yeah, actually there are two differing schools of thought on the alkaline water. But we in our practice really encourage the use of more on the alkaline side, so to help alkalinize the body. Of course, that's not the only one that alkalinizes the body. The food that we eat also alkalinizes the body. So it's very important that we get a good source of water, and we have at least at the age of 7.
I was actually curious about that because, when I experienced it, I started to think, I wonder which one goes first. Because all of a sudden, when I was just taking in all of this alkaline water, I was just naturally drawn to choosing alkaline foods, which was very interesting. It's like fried foods, are gonna make my body dirty with, I would love really fried foods a lot. But
it's so yummy,
Exactly.
We crave them.
I have special brands that are already popping in my mind right now that I really, really love. But then it's like, which one goes first? You have to an experience of an alkaline body through probably water, and then you get drawn to the food, or the food comes first, and then you probably are gonna get drawn to drinking more water afterwards.
I don't know if it changes your taste buds.
I think that's
I'm
right.
not really
Almost would
sure.
seem like
but
it, yeah.
Probably.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I found when I used to be a heavy meat eater, like meat, some more meat, and some more meat after that, right? And after about 40 years of that, I noticed that throughout the year I got the flu 4 times. And it would last 2 months each time, meaning basically I was sick with the flu 8 months out of the year. Not, extremely sick, but coughing and sneezing and
Gets you down.
that kind of stuff, where it slows you down a bit, but not enough to stay home and be in bed. Yeah, but when somebody said, try out, this vegetarian, vegan thing, cut out anything that comes out of a box or out of a bottle, right? And really try to eat as much raw food as possible. And I did that, and they said, just try it for 11 days, see what happens. And at the time, I was walking around the park once a week in LA with this lady who was 10 years older than me, and she'd always be faster than me, and I was like, wow. But after I went on that raw vegan diet, or live food vegan diet, for a month, I was running circles around her, just after 1 month. And I'd lost 35 pounds in 1 month, which is huge.
Yeah.
And in terms of the flu, I only got the flu 1 week a year after that, which is like almost never.
So the food was not helping you. The
Yeah,
type of food that you were eating before.
Exactly. So that really made a big difference. The raw food. I think as human beings, I think we see the food that God provides for us, and then we think we always know it better. Right? We need to change it this way, add this, cook it that way. But the food really doesn't need to be cooked at all. You can just eat it the way it is.
Yeah.
Ideally,
So there are
the way
more.
God created it.
Yes, there are more nutrients in it. There are more. The enzymes are more alive.
Yeah, things are still alive, right?
Yeah. So you get the most out of what you are eating.
And when you cook it, it's actually dead already over a certain
Yes.
amount of degrees, right?
Yeah.
Then the food is no longer alive, and so as human beings, we're alive, we're eating something that's dead, and then we're expecting that to keep us alive, right? It's kind of paradoxical when you think about it, no?
And when we eat too much, our energy is concentrated on the digestion. There are other issues that our energy is needed, and it will not address that because it's always busy down here in the digestive tract. So it's helpful to provide just the right amount of food that your body needs, and the right combination of the nutrients that's in there. So every choice that we make, every nutrient that comes in what we eat really matters. Yeah. I would say to my patient that it's an investment. When you invest in your health, you are investing for the future.
Yeah. So many of your patients probably, if they knew this, they probably wouldn't have to come to you in the first place. But by the time they come to you, it's probably kind of like at a point there's some warning signals, maybe some disease already that they've been trying to handle some other ways. What are the major, maybe 5 things people come and see you for?
Okay, so patients come to see me for say ailments that would not go away, infections that would not go away, with having had a series of treatment, conventional treatment like antibiotics. Also patients who have hormonal problems, because hormone is really a big issue that has been not been properly addressed. Okay, so for example, men or women who have low energy or very moody, or who low sex drive, or have some aches and pains, they have some hormonal imbalances that need to be addressed. So that's one. Another would be
has anybody ever seen you for too much of a sex drive?
Come again?
Has anybody ever seen you for too much of a sex drive?
No.
Oh, right?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, good.
Patients also who want to be healthier.
Just healthier in general.
Yes, they don't really have any big health issue, but they want to improve their health. They want to improve their productivity. So we introduce to them how they can improve themselves and prepare, how they can detoxify. So we give them programs, different programs. So we individualize our approach. That's the difference in our practice. There is no one size fits all program. So there has to be some individualization of management or treatment or approach to the patient who comes to you. So other patients also come in for fatigue and some for autoimmune illnesses.
Like HIV and AIDS?
No, they haven't. I haven't seen a patient with that kind of condition, but say IgA, immunoglobulin A nephropathy is an autoimmune disease where the kidney is being attacked by its own immune system.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's one.
That's scary.
Yeah, and other forms of autoimmune diseases. I hope more patients will come for that because there is hope for them. It's not a life sentence that once you have this autoimmune problem. The earlier we address it,
The better.
the better.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about our major diseases, our major modern diseases like heart disease, arterial diseases, diabetes? You name those things. Is there help available for people like that?
Yes, it's very important that we introduce to them that there are ways to prevent the complications and there are ways to correct the blood sugar level and improve the blood vessel health. You know, aside from the medications, we can. Some patients even experience reduction or elimination of the medicines that they are taking after going through a treatment. Yeah, and there has to be a commitment on the part of the patient also, because I would always say that patient who really cooperates and finds ways to improve himself is the one that gets healed the most.
Yeah, because I think it's
faster,
really a
no?
call for change. You know?
Yes.
You have to alter somewhere there, your lifestyle. Otherwise,
Yes.
it's gonna just go back, right?
Yes. And it's important for that patient, for that person to also have a good support from the clinic and also from the friends or family members. Sometimes it's difficult for the patient to have a change of lifestyle. But if he's in an environment of people who can help him out, then it will be easier.
So, for example, a diabetic, not supposed to eat any sweets, but at home, that's all they do is eat ice cream, cake, unhealthy stuff, and it's not a very supportive environment. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, so it will be good if the rest of the family members also adapt to that.
So in a way, you got to treat the whole family, not just the patient.
Because you have to really have a change of mindset, change of choices, and habits.
How does one convince their family to go on a diabetic-friendly diet?
Well, they have to probably experience eating the food that is good to eat, even if it's for diabetics.
Like like in a table, right? Like there should be no special food for the person with the diabetic condition, and then the rest are eating lechon, all the favorite food of the family.
And a good way probably to introduce.
They might be moving out, huh?
A good way probably to start in the family is you can start slowly introducing the more proportion of healthier food and the not so healthy food, making it smaller and smaller in proportions.
So gradually phasing it in.
Yes, that's one approach.
Okay.
Another would be introducing really good, well-prepared food that is tasty and good to the eyes and palatable. And it's a challenge I hope there are more, fast foods or how do you call that?
Restaurants.
Restaurants who offer healthy food choices.
Healthy options, yeah. There's actually a new restaurant in town called Salad Stop. They have 3 locations as far as I know. It's quite yummy actually.
Uh-huh.
It's quite yummy, but of course it's also a little pricier.
Yeah, so I hope.
I see more expats there than really locals.
Oh really?
Yes, I really hope, because there are a lot of professionals working, people in the workforce really need those kinds of healthy food choices.
Mm. So what would you say to someone who's kind of like a beginning diabetic, maybe blood sugar is at 150, 160 after fasting?
You know,
What would you say to those people?
blood sugar of 150, once it gets abnormal, we say you are labeled a diabetic. That means 5-10 years before it has already started becoming abnormal. So it's not a it's newly diagnosed based on our standards of the blood sugar level, but actually once you have blood sugar beyond 85 or say 90, and there's a going up trend, even if it's not 110, it's no longer optimal. So
the disease may start slowly setting in.
yes, the disease is already setting in slowly. So if you are 150 or even at 95, you really have to start doing an inventory, taking an inventory of what you eat. Yeah, so you have to cut down the carbs, or you have to replace them with carbohydrates that has more fiber. We say that the closer the form from its harvesting, the better, because it still has the fibers in it, it still has the nutrients. The more processed, the easier it's absorbed by the body and becomes sugar that that becomes elevated in the blood, and it's not easily absorbed in our system by our tissues because of insulin sensitivity. So you start with the diet, you take an inventory of what you eat, and you really have, if you have problems how to proportion your diet, then you have to seek doctor's help, and you may even need the help of a nutritionist.
So when I'm as a diabetic, how much ice cream can I have and how much cake?
Okay, how much? Actually, maybe just to improve just to give in to some of your craving, maybe just a few, 1 scoop.
1 scoop.
And I would say that for those who want to really reduce their caloric intake, especially from carbohydrates, eat it very slowly. So if you are taking ice cream, you eat it very slowly and really
I'm guilty of eating fast.
Yeah, let it stay in your mouth for a long time so that you will be satisfied.
You know, I had a friend in LA, he was in his 60s, very active man, still professionally on the road and on his legs all day long. All he ate was 1 small yogurt and 1 apple a day. And he says, oh, I'm diabetic, that's all I eat. I was like, really? People can live on 1 yogurt and 1 apple a day? How do you do that?
You have to have other nutrients from other food.
Maybe something you inhale, maybe? Because he said that's really all he ate the whole day, you know? Supposedly, yeah.
Yeah, if you're diabetic, you also have to look at other nutrients that you are deficient of.
Okay.
Say vanadium, alpha-lipoic acid, chromium picolinate. So those help in patient with blood sugar problems.
Doc, where do you see those things? I mean, the first time my ears catch them, we're like, what's that? Vanadium.
Actually, there are sources of, these are found in our food. But when you are diabetic, you would have to have concentrated preparations of that. That's why we give some supplements for diabetics.
Wonderful.
And there are also
Because usually you only hear that in the hardware store, chromium, vanadium, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to steel tools, right? It's not something you'd expect to put in your body, much less eat.
Now
right?
I understand why I couldn't relate to it.
so yeah, and you have to give patients the right amount of those nutrients to help the body improve its blood sugar metabolism. Also, you need to have, so I said earlier that you have to have more complex forms of carbohydrates. So replace the breads, replace the pastas with whole food.
Is that like a whole food pasta?
Yes, the ones that are, for example, for the rice, the unpolished rice, and then the root crops. Pastas with the ones that are not bleached.
Maybe rye flour, maybe? Or does it still have wheat flour in it, even the rye flour?
I think so. I haven't tasted the rye flour.
You know, actually, when Dr. Sharon mentioned earlier that the food has to be closer to how how you harvested it and how you eat it. Because thinking about pasta, I go like, I cannot imagine it in pasta or noodles. It has to like, if you really are somebody like, my children love noodles so much.
But you're the one who bought once a machine that made noodles out of cucumbers, right?
Yeah, well, they look like
noodles, but they're
they
not,
don't
right?
taste like
They don't taste like them, right? They put like a salad dressing on them, right? But they kind of like have the crunchiness and the texture of pasta, but it's not pasta actually. It's very healthy.
If you can make noodles out of, say, cassava.
Oh, that's gonna be very interesting. But you have to make it into a flour first, right?
Yeah.
For it to become noodles. I did buy cassava flour one time, and then Yoro was looking at it. It's so gooey. What's this? No, I won't buy it again.
But we actually bought a noodle squeeze machine, so hand operated, and we made our own noodle dough, right? And we squeezed it into the hot water. It was actually quite yummy, even though the kids were looking at it with suspicious eyes,
And they have been so used to what they see.
Yes.
So it's a retraining of the.
Especially children, they're very once they're focused in on what's okay to eat, they don't want to change.
Yes.
Or experience something new. I went so far as to give bonuses to my children when they try something healthy, like a bonus point, which they can, if they have enough points, they can actually buy themselves a toy with, a small toy or something.
Dr. Sharon, for those who are probably not in your circle of friends or even family, how do they really find practitioners like you? Because when somebody gets sick, the first thing in their mind is go to the hospital, right? And then good luck, they actually met somebody like you.
Well, some patients who come to us, they really search on the internet until they find one. Or sometimes they kept an old clipping of our
newspaper clipping.
Yes. And then some are referred to us.
Okay, beautiful. We'll get some more into that. We'll just take a quick commercial break. Please stay tuned for these very exciting announcements.